During this interval, we're going to pick out just a few of the champagne moments. And by all means, please get involved with your nominations. I know you have been sending them in, tms@bbc.co.uk or at BBC TMS on social media. Jim is staying because, of course, he played in a lot of those games and he's watched the others with us, and we'd have other members of our team dropping in as well. Let's start with Alison Mitchell, shall we? Your moment, Ali, came right at the start of the summer, didn't it?
Hi, Aggers. Yep, Jim, sorry, I'm going for a moment or a performance by the opposition, so I know lots of other people are going to be coming in with England moments. But yeah, I'm going to take you right back to the first day of international bio-bubble cricket. And the West Indies had come over. There'd sort of been two backdrops, hasn't there, to this whole summer. One has been COVID, the other has been the movement around racial equality. And we'd already seen at the start of the day's play both teams take the knee, and the West Indies raising the fist as well in symbolic fashion. Then Jason Holder, who'd spoken so eloquently about the movement for racial equality in the build-up to the match, then came roaring out and took a career-best 6 for 42. And I just felt that the significance of that performance, it felt like a very powerful performance by a leader of men who had spoken so eloquently, all against the backdrop of what was going on in society at the time. So that is my sort of performance and the feel, the societal backdrop behind it.
It was an interesting game of cricket, wasn't it, actually? The whole thing.
204.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when, yeah, exactly. Let's listen to it anyway. We've got the last moment, haven't we? Campbell works into the leg side, calls his captain through, and there they are. West Indies are home. They've won by 4 wickets. And there's a touch of the elbows there between Stokes and Campbell. And the West Indies deserve that. They've hauled themselves to their total. There's no high fives or shaking of hands. They're touching elbows out there at the end of a very hard-fought game. And West Indies go 1-0 up with 2 more to play. Interesting team selection as well, of course, because that was where, well, it was put out there that this is going to be England's first choice attack. No Stuart Broad in it, and he wasn't very happy. And he's a good mate of yours. Of course, he went out publicly, didn't he, and expressed his disappointment at all of that. It was a brave thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I think someone like Stuart, the way that his personality is, he sort of thrives on things like that. You know, the sort of, you know, whenever he's been sort of written off in the media or he has been dropped, he always seems to bounce back with real strength. And to be honest, the last couple of years for England, I think he's been our best bowler. He's been consistent, man of the series in many series. He had the wool over David Warner in the Ashes. He bowled brilliantly in South Africa, led the attack brilliantly. And again, this summer obviously missed that first test, but then off the back of that was just phenomenal.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you can sort of see it from the management selectorial point of view. They've got to look round and look at people for when you and Stuart finish, whenever that may be. But it's just so difficult. I thought they got it horribly wrong for the first test of the season and this strange summer anyway. I mean, Stuart Broad is, as he showed, he's a first choice pick. But there must be, there is this in the background. You can imagine the selectors thinking, well, if we don't give other people a game, how are we going to know who can possibly come in and replace these two?
Yeah, but to be honest, Aggers, I don't remember that ever happening when I started playing. I didn't get given a cap because someone was getting on a bit. So I think, you know, we want to win games of cricket. As a test team, if you're going to improve, you need to learn how to win games. You need to get momentum. And I think you pick your best team. And there will be times where we miss out, because if we do play in Sri Lanka and India, then it might be a case where 2 seam bowlers play, and myself and Stuart wouldn't be the right pick for those pitches. So... you know,
pick your best team.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? And I think, again, there were times this summer where, you know, I was rested for the second game because I hadn't played much cricket, just to give the body time to recover. And there'll be times where, you know, we'll get injured or in need of a rest or whatever. But I think until that happens, you pick your best team.
Yeah. Well, he certainly bounced back, didn't he? Because during the morning session on the final day of the third test against the West Indies here, when Broad reached his 500 wicket landmark.
Broad is in to Brathwaite. Brathwaite is stuck on the pad. Big appeal for him, but it's given in. That is Broad's 500th wicket in Test cricket. And I think Brathwaite is walking off. He was absolutely plumb. It went low, it struck him on the pad, bang in front. And Broad has made the breakthrough. You said it, Carlos. It's the time for Broad to wreak havoc. Well, he's done it, and he's also got to that milestone. His 500th wicket in Test cricket.
Yeah, special, isn't it? And, you know, okay, no one here, and we of course will hear of yours in a moment too. But I mean, does it make a difference, or would you just get there and you enjoy the moment?
Yeah, of course it makes a difference. I mean, for all of us that play international cricket, to be out there in front of a crowd, that's why we play. We're trying to entertain people, and you know the atmosphere that creates as well when people are enjoying watching. It's an amazing feeling to be a part of. But at the same time, yes, he'd be delighted just to get to that 500 mark. I was delighted that I was out there to share it with him. And unusually for him, his dad was in the ground as well, which I think was actually quite a nice moment.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting because I've always had a big interest in Stuart Broad's career, because I do know his family well, clearly. And they're like most young, quick bowlers, shall we say. I thought there was a period that they didn't quite know what he was, whether he was going to be a fast bowler, ran in, and you know, obviously tall and everything else. He can bowl a quick ball, clearly. People are always on the lookout for pace, aren't they? They want that. But actually then, do you sort of remember when it was, where he actually rather craftily did decide to sort of rein in? I remember that spell at Durham to bowl Australia out, for instance. He bowled quickly then, properly fast, but generally much of his career has been this clever, hitting the seam, fullish sort of length.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, every bowler's been through that plays cricket. You're trying to find what you are, you know, trying to find out what best suits you. And yeah, there were periods where, you know, there's a lot of talk about how Jofra Archer's managed at the minute, and to be honest, he's still young in his international career. He's still finding himself what sort of bowler he is. So it's not all down to the captain and people behind the scenes. You know, Stuart was used in a way by various captains where he was called the enforcer for a bit, which you know, it's an awful title to get as a bowler. But you know, he bowled bouncers and he tried to rough the opposition up. Whereas he's always been able to swing the ball. He's been skillful when he pitched it up, and he can bowl quick. And I think as he's got older and more confident, he now knows what suits him best. And there are times where he wants to bowl bouncers and such in if the situation of the game allows. But I think essentially he looked so dangerous. Every ball this summer I felt could be a wicket, the way he's bowled and the movement that he gets.
Does the enforcer tag, is that a media word, or is it a word that's come, you know, right, Stuart, you'll go out there, you're our enforcer today? Is it a team word?
It's certainly something that doesn't get used in the dressing room.
I've never heard it used within a team before.
It's definitely a media word, I think. And it's just not... I don't think anyone likes it.
No.
Certainly the players don't like being called that. But yeah, as I said, I think he importantly as a bowler, not just for Stuart, but everyone. You know, I went through that. I was a quick bowler when I started, and then sort of developed my skills as I got a little bit older. And I think you do need that in international cricket. You do need a little bit more than just being out and out quick, because there will be times you'll come up against an opposition who like the pace on the ball. You'll face conditions where you actually, the quicker you bowl, the easier it is to bat on, you know, on some surfaces. So you need to be a little bit cleverer than just being an out and out quick. And I think that's something that you just have to develop with experience, and the more you play.
Well, that happened during, of course, the third game against West Indies, which England won to win the series. When he lost the first test, were you worried?
Not worried. I think, to be honest, we knew we didn't play anywhere near as well as we could. So I feel like we just used that as positive to try and work on those things that we needed to. We disappointed, definitely, but not worried, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we clearly enjoyed Carlos Brathwaite's company. Did you know Carlos very well?
I don't know.
Oh, he was lovely. He was terrific. He really was, and he really got into Test match, especially. You know, he did. He got it. You know, it was brilliant. And so we are going to play, because not all the champagne moments have been actually on the field. Many of you have asked for this when we let Carlos Brathwaite loose on the shipping forecast.
Drum roll. Viking. Low Shannon 996, expected 40s 987 by midnight tonight. South 5, becoming cyclonic, then west 6 to gale 8, perhaps severe gale 9 later. Gale warning 0334 on Monday 27 July 2020. Gale force 8, backing northerly imminent, northerly 5 to 7, increasing gale 8 at times, but becoming variable 4 in west. Moderate or rough, rain, moderate or good. Sweating.
Brilliantly done. I mean, what a voice. What a voice.
Lovely that. And a bigger cheer than when Stuart got his 500.
Well, it was. Yeah, I see you're right. No, dear old Carlos. We did enjoy his company enormously, and I know the listeners did as well. Now, Charlie Dagnall's here. He's popping up with your favourite moment.
Yeah, do you know what? It's actually not one necessarily from an England perspective, but actually one of the games of the summer was the third one-day international. When obviously after the Test match series against the West Indies, when Ireland were playing at the Ageas Bowl, and I have to admit, when we were there, we'd seen the first one-day international Ireland roll for 170, the second one-day international they were rolled for 210, and honestly, this is the sixth day of the bubble, and we're thinking, well, come on, we can be on the motorway here by around about 7:30 if England have a good day, and they got 320 odd, and 100 for Owen Morgan, 50 for Tom Benton, and we thought, right, well, roll them out England, and away we go. What we saw was just a stunning knock from Paul Sterling, who couldn't play David Willey in the first two games, and Andy Balbirnie as well, who got out to James Vince's medium pacers in the second one-day international, a partnership that got them over the line. It was a really fantastic time for Ireland cricket.
Well, it was a terrific run chase. A familiar foe was there in the end.
All he has to do is get it, bat the ball and squirt the ball out somewhere. If he gets it past the fielders, it's going to be 4 runs or at the worst 2. Ireland to win this match in Southampton. Kevin O'Brien. He's hit the ball and he's got the run, and Ireland have done it. Would you believe it? It's Kevin O'Brien, the hero of Bangalore 2011. He's the hero again in Southampton in 2020. I can barely talk. They've done it again. They've beaten England on English soil. The world champions are beaten on another famous day in Irish cricket history.
He enjoyed that, didn't he? Fair play. Michael McNamee, from our friend from Ireland, commentating there. 2011 still has it from me, if I'm honest, Jimmy, because that was a sort of extraordinary night in Bangalore. But it just shows one-day cricket. Anyone can win.
Yeah. It's I've got not so fond memories of 2011.
But it was an incredible day, though, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah.
It just was. I mean, okay, but not so thrilling for those involved but watching. It's an amazing game of cricket.
I can imagine, yeah. Not when I'm bowling the ball that gets smacked for 6. But yeah, I thought I thought Ireland did really well there. As Charles said, everyone in the ground was thinking, we could be on the road here and get things wrapped up pretty early. And obviously they've got a huge, having played against Ireland quite a bit, they've got a huge amount of passion and a lot of character as well in that team. And you can never write them off, and you can never take them lightly either. So, Pakistan then, Jimmy. The pace attack, I remember really being so excited about watching these young fast bowlers and so on. How did you all sort of approach that series? And this, just Pakistan in general, I mean, how much do you know about them? Clearly, I think England had a bit of an advantage. They've been playing some test matches first. That was clearly must have helped a bit. Yeah, I think it did. We had a few days off in between West Indies and the Pakistan series, but to have been playing and come in there, it felt we did have a slight advantage. Going on Pakistan and their team, when we discussed them, you go through their batting lineup and they've got some real quality in there. Yes. Babar Azam in particular, Azhar Ali we've all played against before, and he's scored hundreds against us. So we and Asad Shafiq as well in the middle order didn't have his best series, but a very dangerous player. So we knew that we couldn't take them lightly, and they did really give us a good run for our money.
Yeah. Are you excited about looking at seeing young fast bowlers like that for the first time I've seen them live, I suspect?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because obviously I do like seeing young fast bowlers coming onto the scene. I'd rather they didn't come onto the scene against us and
Yes.
start bowling well against us. So, I mean, I've seen a bit of Naseem Shah before. Saw him in Australia when he burst onto the scene there, and was really impressed. And I think in this series, what was impressive about them was they're not just out and out quick. They have really good control, and they can move the ball, and they caused us real problems. And we had to dig really deep to beat them.
Yeah. Well, so many people nominated this. I must say this is an incredible performance by Butler and Woakes. And just before we play that clip, I mean, Jos Buttler was under quite a lot of pressure, hasn't he? And has been for the wicket keeping. But didn't he take his chance with the bat during the summer? Well, just to remind people of the force that he is.
Yeah, he really did. And that game in particular, I think it suited him down to the ground because, when I think about Jos Buttler, I think about how in one-day cricket, he loves to chase, and I think he plays the situation really well. So in a tough situation when we're chasing down the runs and we're in a tricky position, I think we're 5 down,
yes.
or 6 down even.
We're 117 for 5.
Yeah. So in a
chasing 277. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think the way he played that situation together with Chris Woakes, they used their one-day experience in that knock, and I'm sure if you asked them about it, they would say that they called upon that experience of being in the same situation in one-day cricket. And I think that helped Jos, and that showed again when that rolled on, that form rolled on into the next couple of games.
Yeah. So 277 to win, 117 for 5. That was when Ollie Pope got that ball. It was a brutal thing, wasn't it? Caught it shot off a length. I mean, absolutely unplayable, and it looked to be all over. I just thought that Pakistan would run through the lower order, but 75 from Jos Buttler and a brilliant performance from Chris Woakes, 84 not out, led England home. England need 4. It's a little edge, something from somewhere. Shaheen Afridi runs in, bowls to Woakes, who's on 80, and catch it, they shout, it's gone for 4. It is an edge. It's flown through third man in the air. There's no third slip. And England have won by 3 wickets. And it's one of those days, one of those games in which statistics matter to an extent, but the manner in which they've won this game on a very, very awkward surface indeed is truly remarkable. So often there's the quiet man, isn't he, Chris Woakes?
Yeah, but so often stands up and puts in a performance. He was fantastic with the ball throughout the summer. And now he's, today again with the bat, he just keeps getting better and better as a batsman. I think everyone knew the quality he had with the bat, but obviously now, and coming in at number 7, which again, people saying is that a little bit high for him. I think he's showing he's got the quality to be able to bat there, and I'm just really pleased from him as well. One of the real nice guys in world cricket.
Yeah. And do you also work together when you're the bowlers? Are you all doing the same sort of technical things together with the ball? Are you all sort of pooling ideas and you all go out and try these things together?
Yeah, I think the communication is brilliant, and it's also crucial on and off the field. So in practice we bowl in the nets together a lot, discuss what we're trying to do and any new things we're trying, also technique as well, talking about that, so that once, if someone's struggling in the middle, then if we've got a bit of an idea of their sort of keys to their technique, then we can sort of give them a nudge on that on the field if they do seem to be struggling. So I think it's absolutely crucial that you have that good communication.
Now to the GS Bowl, then I must admit, I think the 2 games there, they're both affected by the weather. It's pretty challenging, I think, for everybody, those 2 back-to-back test matches there, the bubble and everything else. But we did have some magical moments. One, of course, involved Jimmy, that we'll talk about in a second, but the other was a brilliant batting display from young Zach Crawley. Where's he going to get his 200? Shah runs in, bowls short. He's got through third man. It's an edge. It's a streaky one, but Zach Crawley won't care. He's 201 not out, the 3rd youngest Englishman ever to score a double century. The last one was David Gower 41 years ago. It's his 8th test match. And he's raising his bat, he's got his helmet off. What a shame there's not 20,000 people here applauding this innings, because it's been a really beautiful knock from a very promising young player indeed. He's only 22. 267 he made from 392 balls, and you can just see somebody just stamp his name onto Test cricket, can't it, at such a young age?
Yeah, I think Zach's definitely one of the most impressive young guys that I've seen come into an England team for 10, 15 years even.
Really?
Yeah, he's just, the moment he came into the squad, you could just see he's got a real sort of calmness about him. He's got a willingness to learn, soaks things up as well, and he's obviously a quality batsman.
Yeah. But a brilliant all-round game. I mean, he smashes it in T20 cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. He's carried that form on for Kent in the Blast recently. Yeah, so he's definitely one. I wouldn't just pigeonhole him as a Test player. He can certainly go on and play white ball cricket for England as well. But he's just someone he's a real popular guy in the dressing room as well. Guys love him. So everyone was delighted for him in that particular game. It was a fantastic knock.
It was. And Jos Butler, 152. They put 359 on together, and the weather came sweeping in, didn't it, towards the end. We thought we weren't going to get any play at all, and suddenly this little session just opened up from nowhere. I think most people thought it wasn't going to, there'd be no more play in that game at all, but Jimmy didn't take too long to reach his milestone. And Anderson moves in, bowls the right-handed Azhar. Edged it, he's caught at slip. And Jimmy Anderson becomes the first fast bowler in the history of the game to take 600 wickets. He's done it. He could easily have done it earlier. So many catches were dropped off him, but Joe Root was not going to drop that. And he's showing the ball around, to nobody, but he's got a big smile on his face. That's better. Sweeps back his hair, and he's got there. He's done it. 600 wickets. I'm glad I was on. I've seen most of those 600.
Yeah.
And that was great, because it did. I mean, it was like that session was made for you. Everything just seemed to be, the word was, we don't play today, it's all finished, there's going to be a draw, and it's just like everyone get in the cars and go home. But suddenly this opportunity opened up for you. Well,
the night before, the rain was absolutely torrential, and we all the players didn't expect to bowl the ball. And then the morning after, I think you were texting Broady as well before the game started. No point going across to the dressing room, we're not playing. So it was a bit doom and gloom, and we just thought, we're not going to get any play in. But thankfully we stuck around. There was a slim chance as well of us winning the game if we had a mad sort of session, which can happen. But just the pitch was pretty placid by that point. But I was happy that we got that play in, because being stuck on, it's not the worst number, 599.
No, it's not. It's not the worst, Jimmy. But I wonder what it would be like if you'd been dangling all winter on 599.
Yeah, I think the fact that we don't know when the next cricket's going to be for definite yet, that was the tough point. But nice to get it, and obviously a frustrating few days as catchers go.
Wow, but we've got an email. Sam Bendel, my top moment was the chaos of a Stuart Broad drop catch and then the run out. Butler trying his best not to laugh. I don't know how much you've seen of it, because we get the close-ups on here of faces of the fielders, and there's you quietly combusting as each catch went down, and you could see the fielders in the end. They must have been dreading the ball coming to them.
Well, I remember I have seen a clip of Jos Butler with his glove over his face, trying to stop himself laughing and looking around, seeing if it's okay to laugh, see if anyone else is laughing. But Broady, he'd have loved to have caught that, and the fact that it hit him on his forearm as well, he was nowhere near it.
It was a horrible effort,
and he wasn't even aiming at the stumps when he threw it. He just threw it in anger and managed to take middle stump out of the ground. But I can laugh about it now.
How did you celebrate that night? What did you do?
4-hour drive home to Manchester.
Well, so you celebrated in the bosom of your family, Jimmy. How it should be. Well, it was great, and it was. It just seemed just tailor-made for that to happen. Almost there. We've got our last one. Only happened on Sunday. Australia's collapse in the second one-day international.
He bowled him straight through the gap of Glenn Maxwell. The celebration starts within the England camp. It's almost a carbon copy of the delivery that he did to remove Aaron Finch.
Curran around the wicket to Cummins, and he bowls him! Sam Curran does the job, stumps everywhere. Australia lose their 7th wicket with the score on 166. Cummins has gone for 11. If they throw it up there, we'll see if he swings. Curran to Stark. Edge gone! Sam Curran's on a hat-trick. Mitchell Stark's out first ball. Australia 166 for 8. The collapse continues.
Big shot coming up, you think. In comes Curran, Bolstrom, and he's chipped it in the air up towards Archer, who'll come and take the catch from mid-off. And there's the 9th wicket. As well, he had to do something, Zampa.
3 balls remaining in his over. Bowls down the pitch and stumped by Miles, and that's it for England. Kerry had to try something, and it didn't come off, and it was the googly again from Adil Rashid, and Jos Butler whips the bails off in a flash. A game that they had no right to win.
Great finish. We'll see how Australia are going to pick themselves up after that, because they're out there in the middle. I just want to read a quick email from Craig Clarkson, who says, thanks for everything this summer. Made the strangest of years a little more normal, from the silent sunny days in April and May when you ran memorable games all the way through to the exciting series in both red and white ball formats, which have provided familiar voices and ensured the essential rhythm of summer remained. You've been with me in my home office, on my government allocated daily walks, on the allotment and in the car, as I traversed the Pennines when finally allowed to visit my parents again. When there was no Test cricket day, Tailenders was a great listen on the podcast as the Bob Willis Trophy and T20 Blast got going. A bit of commentary of the counties has been fun too. You've certainly made my lockdown summer of 2020 feel like I'm still amongst friends. Thank you, Craig. Lovely, and it's been great to have you listening along with everybody else. Your favourite moment, Jimmy?
Well, just following on from
you
that,
say that. I'm going to let Isha in here because we're about to start.
Following on from that email, my favourite moment, champagne moment of this summer, not actually Test match or cricket related. It was the score along that Tailenders did when BBC and Sky got together and put on that memorable Test match, Headingley Test match. So a huge thank you to Adam Mountford and Sky for doing that, and everyone else who took part in that score along, because it really a low point when we were we didn't know what was going on with the world. It was nice to get everyone together.